Hey y'all, this is Jacobus, Speaker of the Student Senate. Obviously this is not the way that I first wanted to address many of y'all. However, desperate times call for desperate measures, so we're using this format in order to better communicate. As many of y'all are aware by now, I'm sure the university is actually going to transition into fully online for all classes. We're no longer allowed to compete on campus due to the coronavirus. So our plan now is to hold the Senate actually online, hold our committees online until we transition to that platform. Our plan is using Microsoft Teams, not just for Senate, but for all committees and all of student government. We're going to use that platform to communicate with each other. And so the point of this video and these videos I'm going to send out to y'all is just so we can become more familiar with each other, more familiar with the process of Senate and how it's going to change in a fully online platform. My expectations for senators generally is to not be a passive senator, to be an engaged and active senator. I've said this often, I'm sure many of you have heard me say this, that I think the purpose of Senate is to advocate for and to represent the student body. And I think to do that you have to be as involved as possible. When it comes to advocating for the student body, you have to make sure that you're reaching out to your constituents, you're aware of the issues that are on campus, and you're aware of the problems that students are facing. It is then your responsibility as a senator to make sure that you are actively involving yourself in ways to address those issues and problems that students are facing on campus. In terms of representing the student body, I think what that really comes down to is making sure that you as a senator are knowledgeable of campus, you're knowledgeable of the Senate, and you're knowledgeable of student government, and you're involved in all those facets. And so when we talk about being involved in student government, that means reaching out to cabinet secretaries, reaching out to GR, reaching out to all parts of student government, and making sure you're aware of what's happening and you're involving yourself in it and you're working to improve it. In terms of being involved in Senate, that means working your committees, working your delegation, and even working with other senators to make sure that you are crafting legislation that is pragmatic and plausible and that actually can make a difference and an impact on campus. So I think really what it comes down to is that there are so many ways in which you can involve yourself in Senate, in student government, and on campus from your position. And so it really comes down to how best can you personally serve the student body? How best can you personally make a difference? You really have to come into the Senate with goals and visions in mind for yourself and for the Senate generally as a whole, that you say, this is something that I can accomplish and this is something that I can do. So really what I would like to see from many of y'all in the coming weeks is really sit down and think to yourself, why did I run for this seat? Why did I want this position? What are the issues I saw and what are the issues I wanted solved? Think about those things and think about how you can work with other senators through legislation, through projects, through initiatives to address those issues and to improve our campus as much as possible. This is a unique opportunity you really will never have again in your life to serve the student body and to improve campus. Take advantage of it, really dedicate yourself to it. I will always say this about Senate. You get out of it what you put into it. You can easily come into Senate and sit there and do nothing, but you'd be wasting your time and you'd be wasting the votes you receive from the student body. Senators who are actively engaged, who are actively involved, not only make the most of a difference on campus, not only make the most of a difference on themselves in terms of leadership growth, but really generally have the most fun and enjoy student government and student senate the most. The more involved you are, the more you'll enjoy it, and the more you realize you have a potential to truly make a difference on campus. And I think that's why we're here at the end of the day, is to make a difference and leave campus knowing we did the most that we could to make it better than when we came. One of the most important things y'all will do during your first committee meeting is you'll elect the vice chairman. How that process works is someone in the committee will motion for a vote, and then by a majority vote, the vice chairman will be selected. My suggestion is choose someone that is diligent, hardworking, and reliable. The responsibilities of the vice chairman are to keep track of minutes and assist the chairman in any way that they need. If the chairman is absent or cannot attend either their committee or rules committee, it is the responsibility of the vice chairman to fill that role as chairman for either rules or their committee meetings and conduct those committee meetings. Vice chairman is a great position to gain in leadership in the Senate and really develop your own leadership skills in a specific committee. And fun fact, I actually started off as a vice chairman, so if you want to speak for one day, this might be the way to do it. One of the most important things that we'll do as a Senate early on is the nomination and interviews of cabinet secretaries from the President's office. These are students that the President will refer to us for your specific committee to interview and to approve up to the General Senate so that they can fill a specific department in cabinet. What's really important about these interviews is you make sure that this is someone who has a clear action plan, a clear goal, and a clear mission for their specific department. This is someone that your committee will be working with for the rest of your term. So you want to make sure this is someone that you're confident in and that you have similar goals and visions to. This is a great opportunity to build that working relationship now, so in the future you're both starting off on the same page and you're both starting off with similar visions for what you want your specific facet of student government to work on. My advice for these interviews is to be a little tough, be a little challenging with them. Don't make it just a regular run-of-the-mill interview. Make sure you're truly questioning them. Make sure you're truly aware of their goals and their visions. You want someone that's hardworking, diligent, and dedicated, and that you're confident is going to be involved in student government and making a difference on campus. I'll send out y'all some mock questions and some mock interview styles you can do, but really what you want to do is, as a committee, get together, discuss your goals, discuss your visions, and make sure that the cabinet secretary you're interviewing aligns with those and that you can work together on those. So one of the most important functions to the Senate is legislation, which is how we communicate with faculty, communicate with administration, communicate with the student body to know that these are our initiatives, these are the things that we're setting out to do and that we want to accomplish. The first type of legislation we have is bills, which are actual physical changes to the code. So what these are is they're going to change the codes, they're going to change how the Senate works, how the structure works. It might be a change in the committee, it might be a change in a certain rule or procedure we have. So that pretty much is what summarizes the bill. Next we have a referendum, which is an actual change to our actual student government constitution. That has to pass by 2/3 of the Senate, will then go to a vote into the general student body, and so that will actually change the constitution. Next we have a resolution, which is a strong statement in support or disagreement with a certain policy the university might be implementing, a certain instance that's occurring on campus, or any type of thing that may be happening. And a resolution is really us saying, this is the Senate's stance on an issue, this is how we feel on it, and potentially this is how we would like it addressed. Next, we have a recommendation is us requesting an action from the university. So this is us saying we see an issue, we see a problem on campus, and these are the steps we think the university should take in order to fix those issues or address that specific problem. An example of a recommendation would be a recommendation to install bike racks on campus in areas where there aren't a lot. That would be a great example of a recommendation.